Music producers is Curtis King at CurtisKingBeats.com, and you're watching another episode of Critique My Beats. This is the show where you send in your beats and I critique them. I am here to help build your empire, not tear it down. You'll never hear words like "this beat is trash." You'll never hear words like "this beat is whack," because I have a lot more words in my vocabulary. Anyways, producers, if you want to get your beats played on a future episode of Critique My Beats, you know what to do. Go to CurtiqueMyBeats.com. You can go in the description below and get more information. There's 3 different packages. One of them you can play 1 beat. The next one you can play 2 beats. And the third one you can play 2 beats and you get a drum kit. 2 drum kits, matter of fact. Anyways, we're not going to waste any time. We got 4 producers that we're going to get to. And the first producer we are starting off with is Brutal Jeff. Brutal Jeff, you left us with 2 beats and a BeatStars link and an Instagram link. Let's go ahead and actually listen to the first one, which is called Blood. Okay, Brutal Jeff, the first beat is called Blood. Let's go ahead and get to the critiquings. This is definitely something I can tell you spent a lot more time on the 808s than any other part of this beat, because you can tell there's attention to detail. And my friend, I liked everything that you did with that 808. The 808 mix was nice. The actual 808 that you use in terms of the distortion, I don't know what process you took it through, but that thing came in smacking, my friend. Aside from the 808 though, here's a few critiques that I heard initially. Now this is going to be hella petty, like I'm going to be super petty Murphy on this one. But your Vox, they're hella raw. They need some reverb or something to space them out, because right now I can hear where it cuts in and it cuts out, and it's just way too raw. Especially for a beat like this, you need certain textures that just kind of complement the dominant presence of this beat, which is the 808. Speaking of which, your lead melody sounds unfocused. There's a lot of different melodies that you're choosing, and it seems like you're choosing melodies maybe that pierce through the mix and you can hear them better, but they're not necessarily melodies that are good for this particular beat, in my opinion at least. I think for a beat like this, if you wanted to send this off for placement, you would have to sell the hell out of this beat. And what do I mean by that? You probably would have to put a hook on this beat so a rapper would listen to it and be like, oh, I like that hook idea. Okay, maybe if we take some of these lead instruments out, okay, that goes hard. So find a hook idea, and I would add the hook and make this a beat with the hook, and then I would try to shop it that way. Even if you're leasing your beats, which I see you have a BeatStars page, I would still add a hook to it and sell it in that manner as well. The last note I have, the drums were smacking. You definitely paid a lot of focus there, but I would say for a beat like this, if you were to send this to me, I would try to find different melodies, maybe an arpeggio, maybe a sound effect, maybe like a choir or something to put behind those 808s so that there's a balance of high, mid to low frequencies. But other than that, super dope beat, man. I like the drums. You know I love drums, so it don't take much to make me happy on that end. But anyways, the next beat is called Lander Running Free.
Running like the river, running wild and free, 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 running like the
Yo, your drums are definitely smacking, and I definitely enjoyed your drum work on both of these beats. This one even more so than the last one. I think I just like the combination of that 808 with that piano. And that being said, when that drop came in, to me, it made the whole Running with the River sample, because it seemed like you took a few different loops and slapped them together. Like, I don't know if that piano is necessarily the right piano for that vocal sample, because it sounds like there's certain keys that are going in and out of key. So they seem to be clashing a bit in the intro for certain chord strums from the piano. It just seems like they're not on the same page, at least. And I just don't know how necessary that running, I mean, it's a dope sample by itself, but I don't know how necessary it is for a beat like this. I think, honestly, if you were to rework this beat and literally have just the piano playing as the intro, that broom, 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 and then bring the drums in, oh man, it's killer. You're talking about something that's an easy sell for leasing your beats, something that's an easy sell for placement because it gets straight to the point. You show a lot of signs that if you spend more time with your sound design, I think you could be a beast at sound design. You show great attention to timing, which is the most important thing I think for sound design, is, you know, knowing when a beat is becoming too monotonous, knowing when a drop just will be unexpected but will feel like it fits within the mode of a beat. That's a skill, and I think that you are developing that skill the more that you create beats. The piano itself, there's parts where it seems like there's two different piano loops playing at the same time, and they seem to be clashing as well. But other than that, man, you left us with two banging ass drums on these two beats. Let me go ahead and share your information. It's beatstars.com/Brutal Jeff Records. All right, thank you, Brutal Jeff. Let's go to the next person. Oscar Eliasson. Let's just say Oscar. You say, hey, Mr. and Mrs. King, hope all is well. To make a long story short, lately I've been having to rely on sampling rather than using VSTs since disk space is an issue with the laptop I'm currently using. So might as well make the best of it and hopefully learn something in the process. I think that's super dope. That's a great attitude to have about a situation like that. Producing for 3 years, you're in Sweden. All my friends in Sweden, glad to see folks sending stuff from that far out, looking to leash your beats. Perfect. You left us with a few links and you left us with one beat, Indica Dreams. Listen to this one. Oh, okay. Pragmatic Beats. I finally found your name. Pragmatic Beats. That was super dope. I love soulful vibes. I recognize that sample because I've used that sample at least 2 different times. And I know one thing about that sample. As beautiful as this sample was, as beautiful as the arrangement of the drums were, I think you picked the right drums for this particular beat. As beautiful as all that is, there's a lot more in that sample, and you know I'm not lying when I say it is. And I think that you relied very heavily on that loop. It's a beautiful loop, obviously, but I would have liked to hear more switch ups within the chops, especially as a sample producer. Like, I understand you running out of space and the VSTs are eating up your whole livelihood on your laptop. I understand that. But them chops don't really run up too much of your RAM. You need to get some more chops on that particular sample. And I would probably put them very strategically throughout. Now, I saw when you let the sample kind of breathe a little bit, and then that's where you got the second half of the loop that you made for the verse. But outside of that, I would say if you're having VST issues and running out of disk space, I honestly will get rid of whatever VSTs that you have anyways, if you're making sample beats, and go sign up for a Splice account. Honestly, I've been on Splice all day today, just grabbing up vocal samples and drums, and that's probably your best friend when it comes to just getting really high quality sounds that are not a whole lot of space. But back to the beat itself, your sound design in the beginning, you kind of had me scared for a second because I didn't know what was happening. Usually when people have long intros and a bunch of sound effects, it's about to be nipple drums, and this was not nipple drums. This was definitely a nice pair of nipples on the drum. I don't know. This was definitely a nicely arranged beat, and I enjoyed the vibes. You got your information here. Let's go ahead and share that. SoundCloud.com/pragmatic beats. You left us with your Airbit page and all that good stuff. Cool. Well, thank you for submitting that. Let's go to the next producer. Uh-oh. We got another name that I'm sure that I'm getting ready to butcher. But butchering is what I do. It looks like Rocky Ito. Rocky. Look, one of those got to be it. So I'm going to just call you Rock for right now. I just want to thank you, Curtis, for your Curspirations. They helped me out a lot, and how to build a website. Keep doing what you are doing, fam. Hope you enjoy, bro. By the way, this beat is a little different than from most. Okay, sweet. Well, you left us with a few different links, your website, your Twitter, your Instagram. I'm not sure how to say your name exactly, and I'm tired of people telling me how I'm butchering names. Look, I'm doing the best I can. Anyways, let's go ahead and listen to this Black Panther soundtrack inspired Kendrick Lamar featuring Isaiah Rashad type beat, Safari. Keto Kid, hopefully your tag's in there.
Keto Kid.
Okay, Keto Kid, I heard your tag. That means I ain't got your name wrong. Haha. Anyways, Keto Kid, really dope beat. So the name of this one was called Safari, and you definitely picked the appropriate picture for it. The Black Panther soundtrack is definitely something that had a lot of African rhythm influences, and I think this beat definitely hit that over the head. I like the sample choice, or I don't know if that's a sample, if that's like a loop or a pad arrangement that you put together. Either way, that was super dope because it evoked an emotion immediately when you heard it. It's something that makes you kind of want to reminisce over something that happened in your life, or it kind of makes you motivated if you're in the gym. If you listen to something like this, you may be on a treadmill, and I can see this something being really motivational for somebody who's on that path. The artist that I heard initially on this is like an Ab Soul or Isaiah Rashad. I think you already picked Isaiah Rashad for it, but I think both of those would be perfect for it. This needs a rapper that is not afraid to sort of be on beat and fall off the beat on purpose and then come back to it, because this is one of those beats where you just really want to enjoy the atmosphere surrounding the lyrics. It's definitely some soundtrack stuff. I think it'll be great for movie and sync licensing specifically. In terms of the critiques that I have for it, I'll say for one, the 808 needs some more beef. Needs some more pumping. I think the 808 right now is there. It's present. You can hear it, but it's not grabbing the other instruments and holding them and hugging them like an 808 should. An 808 should just literally bring everything up and just be like almost like a humble beast, humble presence beyond all this stuff. Right now, it's a little bit too humble. And I think you need to bring some of those sub frequencies up, not turn it up, but bring some of those low frequencies up so it sort of just kind of rises the energy of the beat in a very subtle way. That's what the bass does. I think your sound design is definitely fire. You definitely can tell that you're paying attention to little meticulous details that you think something special can happen. You'll actually go for it. That's what I heard from this last beat, at least. Thank you for sharing it. Let's go ahead and share your information. KetoKidBeats.com is where you can find my man's beats, and his information is right there. Twitter, same thing, Keto Kid. Instagram, Keto Kid, all that good stuff. So thank you for sending your beat. Let's go to one last producer and call it a day. Okay, next producer, Unacoustic. Thank you for doing this. Thunder is an atmospheric beat with gloomy melodies and a hard-hitting 808. I hope you like it and have a nice day. I love when producers send an email and they get straight to the point. I really appreciate y'all kind words, but this is a producer that's like, look, play the beat and shut up, Curtis. But don't like shut up, but like really do a critique. Anyways, we're going to get to this beat called Thunder.
Unacoustic, sauce it up.
Okay, you definitely described it correctly. It's definitely an atmospheric beat that is dominated by first that pad that comes in and then the drums. I would say this, I enjoy sort of the bounce of the beat the most. I enjoyed the bounce. I enjoyed the 808 pattern. However, as great as those were, you can't rely on those driving a beat for the next 2 or 3 minutes. And I couldn't see myself, if I was listening to beats, I couldn't see myself listening to this past a minute maybe. And that's not because the beat is not tight. It's just because the beat is very monotonous. The melody is very predictable in terms of where it's going. And I know it's very atmospheric and you can kind of get lost in that. But sometimes as producers, we got to take a day where we work on a beat like this and then take a few days away, then come back to it and say, okay, what about this beat would make me turn to the next one? What kind of an instrument can I add to this to really bring out the emotion that I want somebody to have? The beat is called Thunder. And I think that it's missing an element that will really give me that literal thunder. And I think as you're sitting there, you're thinking, you're saying, okay, what kind of instruments could I add? I think a choir would be really smooth in the chorus of this. I think that a really harsh synthesizer, kind of like synthesizer riff at the end of one of those loops would be pretty dope. I think even like one of those sparkly arpeggios or sparkly synthesizer sounds is kind of like a blip. I think that would be interesting over this. Either way, you got to show us more of your personality via your instrument choices that you're making as you're playing through this beat. I know it's gloomy, but even gloomy, like you got to think, even when you look outside on a gloomy day, there's still that sun, that little bit of sun that's peeking through the clouds. Give us more of this gloomy day. What kind of a gloomy day is it? Is it a gloomy day where you got your hood on and you're walking through the streets and you're seeing all of this crazy stuff happening, folks getting arrested, all kind of crazy stuff? Or is it one of them gloomy days where you kind of just off by yourself and you're thinking about a girl that you lost? Like, give me more of what is the emotion? What kind of gloomy are you giving me? And I think when you ask those questions, you'll start to add more instruments that make sense. As you're playing it, you'll start to feel and say, you know what, the way I feel, forget about the technical aspect of it. Just feel the music for a second and say, there's more to this story. There's more meat on this bone I'm not pulling off. So I think that's the one thing I would say. The gloominess of it, you definitely captured at least the bare essence of that, but I want to see you go deeper on that. And I think that it comes with changing the instrument up. I think it comes with, running it through maybe a filter in certain places, and then just bringing other elements that make me understand exactly what kind of gloominess this is. But either way, I appreciate you going ahead and signing up. I don't know how you got unacoustic.com. You are one lucky man. That is super dope. You left us with your website, you left us with your Twitter and your Instagram. Everything is pretty much unacoustic. Lil Unacoustic on Twitter, and Instagram.com/unacoustic.9x. Well, thank you for sending your beat. Really appreciate it. Well, music producers, that was another episode of Critique My Beats. Like I said, if you want to be on a future episode of Critique My Beats and expose your music to now the 60,000 subscribers that we have crept up on, hey, almost at 100,000. If you would like to expose your music as well as get a really good critique, and not just from me, what I love is that within the comments, you got people who are giving their critiques of your beats, and they have nothing to owe to you. These are strangers. But it's super dope that we have a community that's willing to help each other and give advice that's going to actually grow each other. You see, I get rid of that garbage real fast when folks be talking stuff or saying, that was garbage, that was whack, that was trash. I get rid of that stuff so fast because there's no place for that here. And once again, to go ahead and get that critique, you want to go to critiquemybeats.com. We'll take care of you ASAP. We got 3 different packages. One's for if you want to get 1 beat critique, another one's for 2 beats, and the third one is that VIP of the VIPs, where you get 2 beat critiques as well as 2 drum kits from Curtis King himself. Why am I talking in third person? Because I can. And sometimes it sounds cool. I am Curtis King of CurtisKingBeats.com. Peace. Please subscribe to the channel below, Curtis King of CurtisKingBeats.com.